It's New Year's Eve of 2018 into 2019, and I've done a couple of things to try to improve the channel that I'm going to employ in the coming year, starting today, I suppose. I've improved on the audio, as you can tell, because you probably hear me breathing like a beached whale, and every little noise, which I need to get used to adjusting. And trying to light the videos a little bit better, and I might start incorporating a backdrop pretty soon. And maybe even stop talking with something in my mouth. Wouldn't that be more pleasant? No, because it's the YTBC. And this is expected. 2018, a year in review from my perspective. I suppose at the age of 53, which I turned back in March, I just started looking at the way things have turned out, At my age, you're not thinking about starting a family anymore, and you're not thinking about, buying a sailboat and heading to South America. I mean, these ideas kind of, they had their chance. And it's funny, because even though at this age, you have more of the means to do those kinds of things, you no longer see any value in doing it. Isn't that funny? You finally earned what you needed to do it, and don't see any value in doing it, so you don't. Not that I'm going to go out and have kids, but, or a sailboat. I like motorboats much better. Back to the year in review. I made a lot of new friends this year, which is unusual for me. I mean, the thing about it is, I meet people fairly often, not through my job, because my job is done all remotely from my home in an office. I don't meet my customers. I do occasionally meet what you might call colleagues in the field, but that's rare. Mostly it's through being a musician that I meet people. Mostly. And those are usually other musicians, or just well-wishing fans, or parents of the bride looking for a wedding band for next year. But I've been meeting people remotely this year. I've been meeting them through the internet and media, which no other year in my life really have I done that. So it's a surprising change. 2018 did bring that. The age of what you might call the internet friend, the cyber friend. That sounds kind of dirty, doesn't it? But I mean, YTPC presenters. You know some of my friends already, because I talk about them a lot. And now other ones too, in my other interests. Not just pipes and not just music, but as you've probably seen lately, I am something into cryptozoology and the paranormal. I've been talking about the Bigfoot community lately too. That's a biggie for me. If you think about it, by way of explanation, the Bigfoot subject is more than just the study of a sort of secretive animal. It's more than that. It's almost proof that that there are other man-like beings that live on this planet. They're just smart enough to stay away from us. They don't tend to come where we are, and or they do, but only when they need things. And boy, there's so much evidence out there. I used to be the biggest skeptic in the world, and I thought this subject was really kind of funny. I really did. I thought there was a lot of humor in it. I'm like, oh, some people, man, they'll go to the ends of the earth to prove a silly point. But then what happens is, after you watch enough videos where you realize that you used to watch them because they made you laugh, but you have to admit to yourself that all of a sudden they've done what a lawyer is supposed to do. A defense lawyer. If you're at a criminal trial, let's say a trial by jury, and you are a defense lawyer, there's really only one thing you need to do here in America to get your guy or girl off the hook. You have to raise a reasonable doubt. and I've mentioned this before. You need to raise the reasonable doubt that something may be the way you say it is, or the way someone is claiming it was, whatever the case may be. When I laughed at enough cryptozoological videos and writings, and found myself sitting through a couple of lectures, figuring I'd sit there with popcorn with my feet up on the chair in front of me, I started to see that there is more out there than you can laugh at. There are some very quote-unquote normal, typical, average people in whose minds the very last thing in the world was a cryptid, a Bigfoot. Coming forward and showing you these pictures like, there's a dead deer 100 feet high in that pine tree. What animal in New England is going to do that? What animal almost anywhere is going to do that? You see some strange things, and you see some very, very credible people presenting the evidence, and you can't argue with it. You can't argue with it. I'm one of those people where you can read everything you want to read, and you can see everything, you can watch videos, you can read books, you can listen to podcasts and all that stuff. And I'm one of those people where my intuition is my best judge. I'm just one of those people where I can talk to someone, and the first couple of sentences they say to me, in most cases, as far as I know, I've been right about this. In most cases, I can tell if they're lying, exaggerating, or hiding something. Those are three things that you got to look out for when you get into subjects that are controversial, subjects that are thought-provoking. Someone who is lying, well, that's pretty easy to spot. There's body language that tells you that. If you ask somebody a question, well, what did you see? And the first thing they do is go, they're imagining, or if they're telling you the story and and they're kind of like, yeah, and this is the way it was, really, I'm not even kidding. No eye contact, fidgety. They don't buy their own story. Then you got those who exaggerate it. You got a guy who saw a black rotten stump in the middle of a swamp while he was fishing, and it was getting dark out, and he could have sworn he saw the thing move. Well, he may really believe that he saw the thing move, but the story that he tells others the next day is, this thing stood up and it was 12 feet high. And the thing is, he wants so badly to prove to you that he thinks he saw something move that he has to make it into a Godzilla movie. They didn't just move. This goddamn thing was the size of a tree. And then you get the people who are hiding something. There's a rather famous recorded police call that you might hear on some of these websites about Bigfoot, where a man is saying to a police dispatcher, there's a big thing in my yard. It's big. You've probably seen this. Is it a person, sir? Yeah, it's, he's big. He never said, yes, it's a person, or no, it's not a person. He avoids the question and trips over it. Well, what has he done? Well, he's wreaking havoc in my yard. Well, have you tried to approach him? I couldn't catch up on him. He's moving so fast. I couldn't catch him. Oh, well, all right, what's he doing right now? Oh, he's looking right at me. Well, what does he look like? He's big. And he's all black. Oh, is it a black man? He's real big. So this guy doesn't want to use the word that he is thinking of. The word is Bigfoot. I think I have a Bigfoot in my yard, but he won't tell that to a cop. He won't. Think about it. How many people really would? If they knew that they had a standing in the community and something like that happened, how many people would come out and say it? Hello, officer. Yes, there is what appears to be a Sasquatch right outside my window. Oh, really, sir? And you've seen Sasquatch before? Well, no, I don't think so, but I have to imagine that's what they look like. It matches all the descriptions I've ever heard. Oh, so you're an expert on Sasquatch, and that's what you've got. You can tell it's a Sasquatch. You see that little Sasquatch go behind me? You see that? That one had a tail. That's a Sweepy Squatch. But the point is, some people will hold things back because they fear ridicule. Well, if you can find the right formula for something you did see, you really did see it, you know you saw it, and you understand how hard it's going to be to disseminate it to people, well, you want to be careful. If you're the type who doesn't want to be famous but wants the problem solved, you'll turn to science. I called the school. I called the university, let's say. The guy who just passed away a little while ago, Dr. Bindernagel. I'm pretty sure I've got a Sasquatch on my property, or a family of them outside in the woods, next to my farm, or something like that. And then, if they have the resources, they may come help you, because they're dying to know, and you can bring it to them, but unfortunately with them comes a barrage of little, like sharks have, those little remoras that stick to them and follow them everywhere they go looking for a scrap. And about half of those are thrill seekers, or exaggerators, or sensationalists, or disinformants. Somebody somewhere said, oh my gosh, if the American people ever knew that there was another race of giant, physically superior humanoids living on the fringe of civilization, what would they do? They'll freak out. They can't even live with each other. They kill each other in the city streets. Well, those people have money, and those people have resources, and the resources are sometimes, a little innocent reporter, or maybe a member of MUFON, or Bigfoot research projects of some sort. Somebody is planted in there, All right, whatever you hear, give it this much legitimate sincerity, but report everything you hear back to us, and whatever we feed you back to bring back to your association that you're planted in, you give that back to them verbatim, okay? We've been watching the market analysis. We've been watching the audiences. We've been monitoring the news. We've been monitoring the mainstream media, and we know what people go for. And here's what we need them to believe, so this is what we need you to tell them. And you put a couple of thousand of those guys in all the right places, and you let a few of them open up websites that or YouTube channels that are actually saying things like, I am an authority, and I've got the greatest evidence you've ever seen. Well, the powers that be may have let him show some pretty secret evidence, and just enough. Something really sneaky and tiny. An ankle here, or a hand reaching into the camera there. Just enough to make everybody go, oh, whoa! So that he can then say, but you know what it was? Look, I'll show you. And some cleverly reproduced hoax that they can show you to discredit what you just saw. And it doesn't just discredit what you just saw. Something like that can discredit a lot of things that you've already seen. Oh man, all those times when I saw videos of that, that's what it was? It was that easy to fake that? Oh my God. I feel like such an idiot. I've been had. And then you start leaving negative comments on all the Bigfoot sites that you used to like. Well, you got to stay open-minded, and you got to be careful. If you are in possession of good information, you need to also be in possession of wise wits, to disseminate it where it's supposed to go. And my first question that I always ask myself is, if I'm involved in something, if I like something, if I'm interested by it, my first question is, why am I interested in it? What do I want out of this? Before I go to anyone else to share something that I just found out, even if I may be the only person in the world who knows, I have to ask myself, why am I interested in it? Do I want to be famous? Do I want to be that silhouetted black character, in those documentary shows? Do I want to be that, all mysterious, Or I can genuinely say, on my own behalf, the reason why I want to know about it, it's a spiritual pursuit for me. Can you understand that? I'm sure you can. Think about it. If we have souls, I don't even know what a soul is, but if your life force has an intelligent design, which apparently it does, something like that you might call an animal, or you could call a person, well, they may be the defining line, and they may prove to me something that I need to know. Hey, If a person dies, do they leave a ghost? I don't know. I personally don't really believe that. Not as such. Does the same thing happen to one of them? You know? But the thing is, the higher the life form gets, the more interesting it seems to me. It seems the more complex you are, the better the chance that you may actually indeed have a soul. Be a spirit. I don't want to make a distinction between a soul and a person. I don't. I think a person as such is a combination of a life force and the hardware. Okay? I do not carry a wallet on my person, you know, but that's a person. But to me, you're a spiritual entity, as am I. This is hardware. You're like a loose knot in a piece of rope. A loose knot in a piece of rope. You can move that knot down the rope. The material is changing constantly, but the knot is still there. That's what you are. You know, you are a wave on the ocean. The water keeps changing, but you're still the wave. And that's what I mean. And for me to know that Bigfoot exists out there, right now, to me, that's probably the most important spiritual subject that I'm pursuing. So in my 2018, that was one of the things that occurred to me and made me really think. And I don't want to lose that. I want to pursue it a little bit further. And as most of you who are here watching this know, I love pipes. So this is what brought me to the channel, to create the channel. And in 2019, this is going to be, some guys call it housekeeping. I look at it more than that. I look at it as home. This is my home base. The love of this kind of leisure activity, especially a pipe, is my home base. But in my home base and over my home medium, I want to share with you those things that I think about when I am comforted, when I am home. I want to share my home thinking with you. So that's what 2019 is going to be like on the PipeCat channel. You know, roughly. You know me, a little wacko, a little fringe. One of the highest compliments I've gotten recently was a new friend of mine said to me, "Larry, you're a disseminator of the fringe." I loved that. It was great. You disseminate the fringe, man. You interpret the fringe. And I said, wow, of all the compliments I ever got. Oh, this brings me to another thing. This is off subject completely. The highest compliment as a musician that I ever got, I also got this year. Let me tell you what it was. I'm actually embarrassed that somebody said this to me. I play in a band with 5 other guys, and they're all great. I had a guy come up to me at a local club recently, and he came up to me. He says, "You're great, man," during break time. And I said, "Well, thank you. We're happy to be here." He goes, No. You. I'm talking to you. I said, "Me personally?" He's like, You're why I come see this band." And I said, "Oh, well, geez, well, thank you. I mean, that's thanks. I don't know what to say." He says, "You know why, man?" He goes, "Because you're the real thing. You're the real deal." He says, "Those other guys are great, man. You got a great band." He goes, and then the lead singer, oh, he's awesome, man. He really is. He goes, "But you're the real deal. I come to see you." And the guy handed me a beer and he walked away. And I was absolutely floored. That was the highest compliment I've ever gotten. Think about it. To have someone tell you, "Man, you're an awesome guitar player. Man, you're an incredible singer." Those are great compliments, right? But what's it all aiming towards? You're the real thing. You've reached the goal that you set out to be, a real performer. To this intelligent, middle-aged man with nothing to sell and perfectly sober, I was the real deal. That was the coolest thing I've ever heard. Man, I'll tell you, I went back after break time, and I don't think I've ever played any better than I did. And I didn't really want to share that compliment with anybody in the band. I may have told maybe 1 or 2 guys afterwards who I knew could handle it, without saying, without getting any negative feelings. But Anyway, so 2018 brought a few superlatives with it, and that was one of them. The utmost, me being the real deal. So that made me feel good. And I've had a lot of moral support, I suppose you could call it. Not like you need support, but like the flying buttresses of Notre Dame. You know, I've had a lot of encouragement in this year, and I think that it's actually had a profound impact on my being. I've said before, I've had trouble walking for some time, a neuromuscular problem. I have not changed my meds, although I'm supposed to soon. I have not changed them. I have not changed my habits. But being happier has actually started to heal me. I've been walking straight lately. Somewhat. I still have some trouble driving distances and walking, really seriously walking hard. But I can, even as fat as I am, I can walk now. And I feel stronger because I'm not dwelling on the negative so much. So that's another big thing that came out of 2018 for me. All these little things that added up. The strengthening of my channel, and I'm well over 400 subs now. To me, that's a miracle. I don't monetize or anything like that, and I wasn't out to capture subs in the beginning. Now it's kind of an addiction. You get them, and it tells you people are watching, and they may want to see more. So they sub you. I'm sure some of those are just counter subs. I subbed somebody because they were interesting or funny, and then they subbed me back. That happens too. But I like to think that even then, the guy had to look first and decide he would. Because I tell people, you don't have to sub me if I sub you. You don't. But if you do, great. I hope it's because you like the material. So I'm hoping that most of the subs I do have are legitimate. I'd like to see more. Because again, that's more of a moral enhancement of my life. It's something that I love doing, that other people love watching me do. That makes me happy. So I'm going to say goodbye to 2018 with thank yous to a lot of people, including strangers. And also a promise to try my best to improve the quality of my channel and make it more interesting. I welcome anybody's suggestions of things they'd like to see or things they'd like me to talk about or research for them. That's something else I enjoy doing. Leave me a comment. If you see a video that I do about some subject that is of interest to you, leave me a comment of some sort and tell me what you'd like to see more of. Or disagree with me and say, you shouldn't do this. That's fine too. That's all good. So this video has gotten very long, and I'm going to probably edit a lot of pieces out of it. So what you're seeing is probably going to be it mowed down a bit. But I thank you for your attention. I thank you for watching my videos all throughout 2018. And the previous years, previous year, I should say. I haven't been doing this for that long. And I hope that you will stay with me throughout 2019 and for other years to come. So for now, I'm just going to say, have an absolutely spectacular, have a stellar 2019.